is the throat chakra. Throat chakra is in your throat and it's blue in color. So when your throat chakra is blocked, it might be often due to the fact that you have been judged throughout your life for being too loud or being too silent. When, especially if you are in India or a place where I feel like almost in every family there is that judgment of like you're being too loud, especially for women. I feel like you're being too loud, stop, why are you being so loud? Or if you're too silent, everybody asking you like, why are you so silent, why you're not saying anything? So there's often that judgment around you that you're not using your throat chakra efficiently. So what happened is that you have actually trained it to not speak its truth. You often get stuck when you're about to say your truth, because everybody around you has often said that what you say doesn't matter. And what you say, and most often when we are children, most of the time when we are talking, and we can't blame our adults also, but most of the time when we are children, when we are saying something, it's very often for adults to like not pay attention to it, or say like actually care about what the children are saying, or see it in a very mocking manner. Oh, she's a child, she's saying something. But for that child, it's a very big deal. For that child, her whole world is what she's saying. And our throat chakra is the first chakra that is actually developed as soon as we are born. We are born into this world crying, right? So that's the first chakra that's activated. But for us, we are often said that, oh, you shouldn't speak so much, you shouldn't say so much. What you say, you should say it in very condensed words, or you should say it in a very articulated manner, or you shouldn't be too excited, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't move your hands a lot, which I do. So you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this. Like, we have been given 1,000 notes on how to speak, on what to do, and things like that, right? So it's very difficult for people to actually reopen their throat chakra, because whenever you say a truth, you feel like you're stammering, or you feel like there's some sort of blockage you feel, where I'm like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. Even when you're talking in class and you know for a fact that you are right, you have the right answer, even then you're like, maybe I shouldn't say it, because that's that conditioning that maybe it wouldn't matter, or maybe you would do it wrong. And the worst thing you could possibly do is be wrong about something. And because when we are wrong, people often have the tendency to actually mock us. I'm so sorry about the horn. Actually mock us, or say that it should like not talk anymore, to not ask us to not speak anymore. But that's not the way. People should actually give us a chance to rectify ourselves, to learn, but that's not often the case. So what can you do to actually open up your throat chakra? One thing you can do is actually neck massages. That can actually help, because as I said, going for massages by your neck and shoulders and everything is focused can actually help your body so much. Because as I said before, your body keeps score, right? So actually giving massages, actually focusing there, can actually really help. Another thing you can do is actually write. When you're writing down your affirmations, or when you're saying something, say it out loud. If you're saying that I'm secure, say it out loud. If you feel like you're enough, say that out loud. Enough, instead of just thinking in your head, say it out loud, because it matters. Your voice matters. Use it whenever you can. Use it. You're worthy enough to speak. You're worthy of communication. You have amazing ideas. Trust me. In this, if we are in this world, it's for a reason. We have amazing ideas. You are allowed to say it, and even if you get it wrong, that's okay, because you're here to get it wrong. This whole journey is for us to get it wrong, get up, do it right, and maybe then get it wrong again. That's the whole point, right? If you never get anything wrong, what's the point of life? At the end of the life, at the end of our life, if we keep thinking that, okay, maybe this is, I didn't do anything. Why? Because you didn't say anything. You didn't say that you wanted to do it in the first place. How is the universe going to know if you actually don't say it? How are the people around you going to love you better if you don't say it? Say it. You matter. You, whenever you have a creative idea, say it. Give it to the universe. Give it to your friends you trust. That's a whole other issue, that like about relationships and everything. But people you actually care about, talk to them about it. It matters. The sixth one is the third eye chakra. Third eye chakra is in between your eyebrows, and it's usually indigo in color. The third eye chakra and the last chakra, which is the crown chakra, is also very spiritual in nature. It's very transcendental in nature. So third eye chakra specifically focuses on your intuition. If your third eye chakra is blocked, it's very hard for you to actually understand what is good for you. Even when you deep down know that this is meant for you, that intuition of, oh, this is good for me, this is what my purpose is, this is what I'm destined for, might not come about because your third eye chakra is blocked. You don't have that vision or purpose in your life. Even when you feel like you want to find your passion, you often say that, oh, I am not passionate about anything now, but I do want to find it. What happens is, due to external circumstances or anything, your third eye chakra is blocked, and so your subconscious is very afraid to pursue anything in the first place. Your subconscious is like, okay, but if we do a find passion, it means that everything around me is going to change. I have to change, and that's very scary. So you wouldn't want to do anything out of it, and it's for you. It's so much better if you are not spiritual. If nothing connects you to your purpose. If you just go day by day, and if you just take a step forward, that's more than enough. And sometimes in our life, that's all we can do. There's nothing beyond we can do. That's also our destiny. Sometimes we have to go through that periods of just day by day to actually reach that point of purpose and destiny. But if that's like a prolonged thing, and if you feel like you can actually do pursue your passion, but you just don't know what it is, and you are in a mental space to actually figure it out, I feel like it's maybe because of the fact that your third eye is blocked. That's why you can't actually even want to do it, or actively taking any steps to actually find your purpose or find your destiny, sort of thing. So, and another thing, if your third eye chakra is actually opened, it gives your manifestation so much more, it makes your manifestation so much more easier. And when I say manifestation, it seems like it's a very debated topic, but I come it from a very gray standpoint. For me, it's mainly like, if you keep telling your subconscious that something is good for you, that I want this, your subconscious is actually going to do anything and find evidence to prove that this is for you, right? So I just see that manifestation as something that my subconscious does. But for many people, manifestation is something like connecting to the universe, and like all those things, and that's good too. Like the whole point, however we reach that conclusion, the conclusion remains the same, that we have to be better to ourselves to actually get the things we want. That's the conclusion. It doesn't matter how you reach there. If you reach through God, if you reach through your subconscious, if you reach through like logical structuring or whatever, the conclusion remains the same. So what can you do to actually open your third eye chakra? What you can do is, there are so many things to do, which I mentioned before: meditation, journaling, using essential oils, anything works. But one thing you can do is actually using using your journal and doing breath work. Breath work is where I heard it in another podcast where she suggested how, if you that's called 5.5 seconds, the perfect second. So what you actually do is, you start your timer and breathe in for 5.5 seconds and breathe out for 5.5 seconds. 5.5 seconds is very specific, so you have to actually concentrate so much on that time and your breath, right? So, and that gives you that sense of concentration and focus you need. So that's breath work. And there are other ways of doing breath work also, which is easily available in YouTube. And then another thing you can do is dream analyzing, especially for if you're a person who gets a lot of dreams. I feel like it can really help you to actually figure out certain things. When if you are a person who's having dreams, just keep a book nearby you, or just even your phone nearby you, and when you wake up in the morning, just record it. That's what I usually do, because if you don't have enough time to actually sit and write, or if you are a person who can actually write, I would actually suggest that just write it out. And it's because writing is always better than just saying it out loud. So write it out and see whether there's any connections or patterns you can make. Another thing you can do is go into healing modalities, like as I mentioned before, doing therapy, or doing chakra healing, doing reiki healing, anything that actually encompasses your spirituality or makes you feel a little bit more aligned to something bigger than you. That can even be a higher self, something self you feel like, has is the best, is the absolute best, like your higher self. Even that can be your motivation, even that can be something bigger than you. It's not necessary that you have to believe in something. It's not necessary that you believe in a particular god or anything like that. It's totally up to you. And finally, I feel like if yeah and finally, another thing is 936 hertz. I have a I have written how many which music to listen to. So that is 936 hertz and 852 hertz. If you actually listen to that music, apparently it's very good for your third eye chakra and helps you to open up a little bit more. So I think that can also really help. Another thing is EFT tapping. EFT tapping, that I'll make a big video of that. What is EFT tapping, what is its history, and how can it help and everything. I'll make a video of it, because it really helped me. EFT tapping has been something I've been doing, and it has really helped me. So I'll definitely try to make a video out of that too. Okay, that's about our third eye chakra. And the last chakra is the crown chakra. Crown chakra is connected to your spiritual consciousness, your spiritual awakening, and it's mainly about beyond all this. It's about the surrender to the flow of the universe. It's about how you being able to accept however your life moves, with its up, with its downs, with its unknowing, with its unpredictability, being able to surrender in times of distress and in times of happiness. That is your crown chakra, being able to surrender to the flow of the universe and actually believing that, that higher power that you believe in has a path for you, and no matter what choices you make, something's a part of your destiny, sort of thing. And you have to just believe that, like universe or your higher power has your best things in mind for you. They believe that you are worthy and deserving of everything. You don't have to work yourself or grind yourself to the bone to actually be worthy of something. That the universe has something destined for you. Or if you are a person who doesn't believe that, it's just the understanding that there are things that has affected you in the past, and but your subconscious, when you actively work through it, your subconscious will be able to give you powerful solutions to move forward, will show you the way to actually be connected to the best self or version of you out there. That's the whole idea behind the crown chakra. It's about divinity, it's about surrender, it's about connection. So actually, most people say that when your crown chakra is blocked, that's a reason why there are so many mental disorders, or where you feel extremely hopeless. And I wouldn't go as far as to say that, but it's it's understandable why people who feel like there has a no meaning of purpose, or they don't feel like there's any sort of meaning for their life, are more likely to be hopeless, are more likely to feel like they are not worthy of anything, they don't deserve this life, sort of thing. So what can you do to actually connect with your crown chakra or align with your crown chakra? It's actually very simple. For something that seems to have such an immense power, I feel like it's actually very simple. It's about just being in the knowing, it's being in the now, as I said before. Just being present, and even just sitting here and feeling your heartbeat for like few minutes, and actually feeling it, and like accepting the fact that you're alive, and that you're alive in this world, you're watching this video now. So it means that there is something out there that needs to connect you to the higher power, right? Just being able to, or even just walking around, just being connecting one, being one with the nature, and all the other things, meditation, journaling, everything. And just even praying, if you are a person who prays, even praying can actually have a significant impact in how much your crown chakra is aligned. Basically, just once in a while accepting the fact that right now, wherever you are right now, how much ever, whatever you feel right now, being here has taken so much courage for you. The fact that you are here right now, and you've gone through so much sadness, you've gone through so much pain, and you're still here, that just means that you're worthy of everything that's out there. So just accepting the fact that you are so strong and you will have better days to come. There are so many days that you'll be so happy. There are so many flowers to like smell. There are like so many skies to see. It's going to be so pretty. Just accept that it's going to be pretty. I mean, even when it's hard, just accept that it's pretty. It's going to be pretty. Trust me. Trust me. So that's about crown chakra. And another thing is, finally, to give a sum up of all these chakras, a bridge that connects all these chakras, it's like straight, right? So all the bridge that connects all these chakras is called a rainbow bridge. So that's about chakras and what they are and what you can do to heal them. And actually even crown chakra, listening to 216 hertz music can be really helpful for you to actually open up that chakra. So for affirmations, I have affirmations for every chakra I have mentioned. For that you can watch my shorts. I'll say what affirmation for each chakra is required. I already said for the root chakra. For the rest I'll say in my shorts. The science behind chakra healing, before I say science, there are not much papers that has been published on chakra healing, mainly because it's an alternative practice, right? It's not standardized. There is not much way it can actually be structured into something. It can actually be verified or reviewed. There's no way like that, right? Even though people feel better of it, there's no actual proof that it's actually good for you or anything like that. It's just for now it's just text and scripts, and there's no experimental way to actually do it in a standardized way to actually give us results, like verifying its procedure. Someday it might happen. And another thing why there's not much research done on these kind of healing procedures is that scientific community is actually not very endorsing of such practices, because as I mentioned before, there are so many other reasons, like it cannot be standardized, it cannot be there, we can't do like double blind procedure, we can't do much procedures or do it in a structured way. That is the main problem. But other than that, I also feel like within the scientific community there is a lot of skepticism or narrow-mindedness towards these procedures. That's also something we have to actually address, right? There are so many people in the academic community who think this is such bogus, or people who are very, like, very close towards this. And I feel like that's unfair, because we, throughout our life or throughout generations, we learn new things. We never know what can actually help community, so we need to be more open towards things, and you never know what's going to heal at least one person. But in scientific community, obviously they are very, like, this is not science, so we are not going to do anything about it. We are not even going to give it a chance, which is unfair. But there are also other good constructive criticism, such as for example, one question that might arise is, what is healing? Like, for some people it's actually it's only healing when you feel like you are in a much better state, right? If you are going through something, for example, if you feel anxious, for some people, only when you feel a total peace and when anxiety doesn't come about, that's only then they will consider it as healing. For some people, just going to a doctor, actually seeking help, for them that's healing. And for some others, it can be if they feel like, oh, they can control it now, they can name it now, and they can actually put a name to it, they are aware about it now, for them that's also part of healing. Just regaining that awareness can be healing for them. So what does healing mean? That question in itself can be very difficult to address in scientific communities. And in scientific communities, one thing we know for a fact is they need to have a definition for everything. It's very hard for you to actually express abstract things, right? So there are constructive criticism also like that, but I feel like there are also very skeptical towards it, which I think is unfair, and we should be open towards such kind of things. But I did find one study very interestingly. In that, they use this thing called as meridian electro analyzer system, which is called MEAD analyzer or something like that. So it's basically, it has a very little electrical current around less than 100 microampere. It's very low. So what they do is they'll use it to understand the tissue resistance when we are pressing on some meridian points, or when we are actually doing something for a particular meridian point. They see what is the tissue resistance there. In this study, what they try to understand the relationship between chakra energy and their consciousness level, individual's consciousness level, and they are try to analyze the average of microamperes in each centers, which I'll put here. So what you can see is that in the higher centers the average was higher, and in the navel center and the bottom region, as we go down, it tends to decrease. Apparently in this study, when they did it, it tends to increase when you are engaged in prayer or meditation, and this average is dependent upon the individual's work, what they're doing, like if they're doing praying, or what they're teaching, or if they are working on puzzles. But depending on what they're doing, the average tend to change. But what is interesting is that even when they are engaging in different sort of activities, the higher energies, the for example the eye center and the throat center, that tends to be higher, and the lower centers tends to be lower, in the sense that they don't shift, they don't change. If for example, even if you're doing something related to something that is connected to your lower regions, those tend to be lower. Even though they increase in number, the overall, when compared to the average of the higher centers than the lower centers, they tend to be lower, and the higher tend to be in the higher variation itself. This changes can happen during a 24 hours time, and even then these centers tend to maintain a time kind of balance, and they tend to maintain a kind of structure, through which they show that, which I'll also show some graphs they have given to actually analyze the patterns, which is very interesting. And from this we can actually see that individuals tend to have like a 24-hour variation time, and even there are changes within the cycles, within the centers there are changes, and that's amazing. But the highest centers tend to be in the highest state, and the lower centers tend to be on the lower end, which is very which tends to connect with the whole chakra healing meditation that we talked about. Because even in chakra healing, they say that if your lower centers are not activated, if your root center is not aligned, even if you try to align the rest of the chakras, it might not work. That's exactly what's happening, and that's very similar to what's happening in what we found on this research also. So this is one study which tend to analyze the relationship between conscious level and chakra energy, and they say that from this we can understand that psychic energy or vortexes can exist. It's a possibility. So which is a very interesting study, and I'll, if you want to read it, I'll source the research paper down below. Don't worry about that. And another thing, which when I was reading through this, what I found interesting was that there is parallels between, this is just my hypothesis, there is no credibility to this. From what I was reading, I just found, I felt like there was a connection here, which I'm explaining. So what I found was that I could actually connect this chakra healing meditation to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I feel like most of us do study that in college or university. Maslow's hierarchy of needs basically suggests that we have physiological needs, we have safety needs, then we have love and belongingness needs, self-esteem needs, and then at the top there is self-actualization, which is transcendence, spirituality. That is what Maslow's hierarchy of needs suggests, which is a very similar thing said by chakra healing also. So the root chakra is connected to our physiological needs and physiological and safety needs. In Maslow hierarchy of needs, they say that safety and physiological needs, if we are not satisfied, we can't go higher up. That's similar. A similar pattern is followed by chakra healing meditation. They say that if your root chakra is not aligned, the others can't align. Similarly, then there is our sacral chakra and solar plexus chakra, which is focusing on, and even heart chakra, which is focusing on our love and belongingness and self-esteem, right? The same goes for our love and belonging, and self-esteem, which is in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So the sacral chakra, solar plexus, and heart chakra can be connected to that. And finally, our third eye chakra and crown chakra can be connected to self-actualization in Maslow's hierarchy, which it follows a very similar pattern. So I feel like considering that Maslow's hierarchy of needs is something that we have accepted, that is a very well-known theory. I feel like chakra healing in that aspect, the psychic energy and all that, I feel like that might have a connection there. But while Maslow's hierarchy of theory does not speak in terms of our body, it's just a set of needs that humans need. This is specific to each individual and each individual's body. And the way in Maslow's, the way they suggest how we can satisfy it is actually different from what chakra healing says. When Maslow's, it's basically on, like, it's based on individuals and individuals coming together and being together. This kind of focuses on a little bit of individualistic way, in the sense that within one's body, how can we align it. But both at the end of the day do need community. We need harmony with our community, irrespective of how we come from it. So I feel like, as I mentioned before, like, however we reach the conclusion, it shouldn't matter, right? Whether we arrive at it in a very scientific manner, which is Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or we arrive it from a spiritual standpoint, which is chakra healing, the conclusion is that there are certain things that we need to do to feel completely aligned and happy and satisfied in this life. It doesn't matter how we reach there. The conclusion is we have to do certain things. And I feel like what I mentioned throughout this video will be really helpful for you to actually connect those dots. And I hope this has been a great journey for you. And if you have any doubts or any feedback, please do put in the comment section, and please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.